All right, so today is a day that I have been looking forward to for a very, very long time. Dalila Ramos is a fantastic person. By the way, she is the first female guest that I've had on my podcast, which is awesome. By the way, I couldn't think of a better person.
Yay, me.
And so I am thrilled that you're here to talk about life and to talk about business. And
Yeah.
before we get started, is there anything that you would like to just share with the audience?
Oh, you know, take one day at a time. Just focus on what's in front of you. Don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. It's not even guaranteed, right? So just focus what's in front of you and worry about tomorrow. Like, that's it.
I love that. I think there's a book called The Perfect Present. And it's not talking about like a present, like a gift, but
Okay.
it's talking about the now, what you just
Mhm.
described,
Yep.
which is super cool, by the way. Uh,
Yeah.
so by the way, there's so much that I want to talk about with you. And,
Cool.
and what I love about you so much is that you're very warm, you're inviting, you're welcoming, you make other people feel good about themselves all the time. And I know that's just who you are,
Thank
but
you.
it is a gift, by the way, because it stands out. And so when people stand out, they stand out for a reason. So my first question to you is this. Just tell me where that type of demeanor comes from. How are you able to harness that every day that I see you, that you are able to do that with other people?
And it's open book, right? Like
Open book.
I don't have to, okay.
Yeah.
Um, and you know this, it's Jesus. Like
Yep.
it's my faith, my relationship with Christ. It's my number one priority. It's my foundation. It's my core, who I am. And his light shine through me every single day. It's something that I humbly ask for every single day, that I'm representation for him, especially within our mortgage community, right? Like that's I don't vocalize that on my LinkedIn platform, right? It's this ain't my platform.
Yeah.
But yes, that is people, they see me, they hear my videos. If they really tune in, they can see it. It does kind of like ooze out.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So whenever I think about what you just said right here, I think about this one thing that Jesus said. He said, "It's not my will, but thine be done." And it was his way, I believe, of saying that there's a greater good above personal comfort or position.
Yes.
And so that's exactly what you just described, by the way. And so now, obviously, as we go through our lives, we deal with personal challenges.
Yes.
And you can see I'm rocking my shirt. I've got two of my
Yeah.
favorite things on here. I've got my Jets, my New York Jets. We may do something this year, but every single year, if you're a Jets fan, you think that's the year until like the third
Yeah.
game, by the way.
Good luck with that. Y'all need
Good
Jesus.
luck with that, right? And then the other one is intercept cancer, right?
Hmm.
So my grandson is going through it right now, leukemia. He's battling it. It's been about 4 years now. But you are a survivor as well. Can you just share with us a little bit about that journey and how you kept your faith?
Yes. So let's see, I was diagnosed at 15 with Ewing
Oh,
sarcoma. Ewing sarcoma is a bone cancer. And it's very uh, present in children. It's a children's cancer, 7 to 17.
mm,
You don't hear about it too much. It is still rare, even after 25 plus years.
wow.
But yes, I am a survivor. I did 2 years of chemo. Um, it's so funny, like that I didn't know you were going to ask me, right? And
Mhm.
I was hesitant. It's hot. I live in Florida. I was hesitant to wear a tank, but it's relevant now to the conversation. So
Mhm.
there you go. But I did lose a lot of mobility and motion in my left arm. So the tumor was in my humerus, my left humerus bone. I did lose the humerus bone due to the cancer. I have a cadaver bone in there that's kind of holding me together.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to be put on a donor list because unfortunately someone had to pass for me to receive that. And so I did. And then it's held together by like screws and metal. And I don't have a rotator cuff. It kind of just, it's more there for optics, like my arm. And they saved it, thank God. But I lost a lot of, it's kind of like people ask me all the time, like with my taco videos, or just like, hey, do this, or you should do this. And it's just because I can't, like, it doesn't go up on its own. So someone was like, hey, you should move your mic to this and this. I'm like, well, I just can't.
Yeah. So this is the interesting thing, by the way, what you just shared with us, and you mentioned 15 years old.
Yep, I was 15 and I'll be 44, God willing, in September. So
there you go. So nearly 30 years, right?
Yeah. Wow, long time.
But I'm getting goosebumps right now, by the way. So
Oh,
my grandson was diagnosed with leukemia at 15 years
EJ.
old.
Mhm.
And so
Oh, boy.
what's interesting is, and I know you know this better than most, is you almost become a doctor when you're going through that stuff, right? You
Yeah,
know
you
about
do.
the test, you know about this, you know about this.
Yep.
And but what I think is missing a lot is that, first of all, cancer can impact anybody. It doesn't matter what the station of life you're in. It doesn't matter your ethnicity,
Correct.
your faith. It doesn't matter about anything. It is going to affect everybody. And at 15 years old, high school student,
Yeah, I was a sophomore in high school.
sophomore in high school, getting this news, not only you think about your health, but what else happened? I mean, your mom and the
Yeah.
people that were around you that said, hey, we got you. But how did you feel about just being different and being removed from basically your school and all that other stuff?
You know, at that time, you don't know why, right? Like you don't know why. However, I will tell you this much. I've always known since I was a child that there was always something different about me. And I'm talking about like little, like 3, 4, 5. I've always known that something was different and I was special. And I can go back. There's something that happened before the cancer that I knew something was special. But yes, it for a girl during her teenage years, it was very challenging. But you know, I wouldn't have it any other way because I learned a lot during that time in high school. I did graduate bald-headed, right? I learned how to look at things. I think the number one thing I learned was how to really view people, right? When you're a teenager and you're a girl, you can be very visual, you could be very, you know, and you're a cute girl, you know how that goes, right? That went out the window, right? Because here I am, no hair, no eyelashes, no eyebrows, right? I look like a little chicken. So I had to learn how to view people, the true beauty, which is inside, like literally inside, right? I also learned that majority of people are good and they're willing to help. So I'll give you an example. There was times because of the amount of surgeries, my arm, it was opened a couple of times during high school. I couldn't tie my shoes. Like the arm, I would have to either wear like slip-ons, and this is Chicago and that's cold sometimes. You can't do that. So I would have to rely on people to help me to tie my shoes, put a jacket on, go from class to class. And people did. Like the majority people they're good. And I believe in people. Like I still, even to this day, I have faith in people because of that. Yeah. And then before that, and I don't know if I've ever shared this with you. I know you and I have the connection with cancer and your grandson and us being the same age when we got diagnosed. But about 12 years before that, at the age of 4, I was in a very bad fire.
Oh my God.
On top of that, I was already burnt. Like I was burnt at that time about 40% of my body as a 4-year-old girl.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I should have prepared you for that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in 1984, I was in a really bad fire. And I remember starting kindergarten, like very limited. Uh, you know, I was burnt. I was burnt like from under my breast all the way down to like my thighs and everything like that. So that is when I like that um incident is when I knew like, okay, this is what people don't go through this, right? Like there's people don't go through this. And it kind of hit me at like 4 or 5 years old because I was dealing with things that nobody even in their adulthood have to deal with. So learning how to walk again, right? How to put on like clothes, stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I'm just listening to you.
Sorry.
No. When you listen, there are people listening this right now, hopefully, that are listening to this right now and saying,
Yeah.
"Wow."
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're thinking about you. And what I was thinking about when you just said that part was I was thinking about your mom. Because you're a parent,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And two boys,
2 boys. Yep.
two
2
boys.
boys. Yeah.
So and I'm gonna add this part. You're a single mom.
Yes, I am.
And so I know that you can imagine how your mom felt because
Oh,
our job and our goal is to protect our kids. And, just thinking back of what she was going through.
listen,
Oof.
Kim, I'm gonna tell you something. I was raised by my grandmother a lot. My mother was always in the picture.
Mhm.
Okay. But my mother had me young and was like, she was doing her thing.
Yeah.
So that day when the fire happened, it was negligence. I got burned because she left her cigarettes and her matches by the couch. Now, she didn't, I did that. I started to play with that as a child.
Mhm.
However, at the hospital, they took me away from my mother. Even though my mother did put out the fire, she ended up throwing me in the shower, and that's how she was able to turn off the flames. I was on fire. Like I have a
Okay.
memory of myself being on fire. And but they took her from me and they, was negligence until an investigation. So my grandmother had to step in, and of course she was super pissed, right?
Of
And
course.
so it was just really hard for both of them. Both of them. Because there was an investigation and then my grandmother was mad at her. It was just not pretty. And I remember that. I remember that clearly
Oh
at that
yeah.
age. And yeah, I feel my heart breaks. And I remember fast forward to when I got diagnosed with cancer, my mom had like a nervous breakdown. She's like, what else can this girl go through? Like, this is not. And then my grandmother, though, because of her faith, she's the one that raised me and planted that seed of the Lord, right? She always stepped in and she was always the rock and the foundation. Like she always took care of it. And I don't now they went home to be with the Lord, both my grandmother and my mother, like back
Oh,
to back. I lost them like
mm,
within 2 years of each other.
yeah.
And but that's like I couldn't imagine. I can't.
I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, and you'll know this by the way when I start saying it, but
Yeah.
you are when peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrow like sea billows roll, wherever thy lot thou hast taught me to say, it is
Well,
well
with
with my
my soul.
soul. That's
Mm-hmm.
you, by the way. It is. So look, all right. So tell me a little bit about your boys. And I know they're not tiny, but
No, they're not.
are they similar? Are they different? Are they like you?
Oh, they're different. No, they're different. They're going to be, so they have one huge similarity, one big one. So EJ and Mateo, they'll be 23 and 17, both on August 3rd.
Oh wow, I love that.
They're both born on the same day. So they're like Irish twins or
Yeah,
something.
something like
Is that
that.
what it's called?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
they're born exactly 6 years apart, both on a Thursday. Like, so
Wow.
yeah, they're both born 6 years apart. There's this obviously a 6 year gap with them, but yes, they are really, really different. One is extra, like he's my safe baby, right? Like
Mhm.
he went to 4 year college, got an accounting degree. He's like conservative, financial responsibility. Like he has IRA accounts. Like what the heck?
Uh-huh.
And Mateo is more of my, like he enjoys school, but only the subjects that he's interested in, right? He's gonna be more, I feel like my trade baby. But he is more of the risk taker and he's fun. Like
Yeah.
he's the fun one, right? Example, there's a place called Gatorland here in
Mhm.
Central Florida. And uh Mateo's like, I wanna do that. And it's bungee jumping over gator infested water. Like you can
I pass.
like zip line and bungee jump and
Uh-huh.
everything like that, right? I remember this was years back. My oldest one, EJ, was like, nah, man, I'm trying to graduate high school. Like, I
Mhm.
got my plans. And then Mateo's like, look at me, look at me. Like, and then I remember staring and being like, am I a good mom? Like letting my 10-year-old like
Mhm.
just zip line over and I'm like, cause if he drops, I'm like, well, I got another kid at least. Like, we're good.
All right. So listen, you have been obviously you've had a background that is just filled with personal challenges,
Yep.
and obviously you look at life through the windshield, not the rearview mirror. You're the epitome of that. So you've been in the mortgage industry over 20 years,
Yep.
and so tell me about your journey in the mortgage and tell us about your company. I really want to get to that because the work that you do is just amazing. It's
Thank you.
really it's what I call other centered rather than self centered. It's
Sure.
all about other people. It's all about helping somebody get to where
Oh,
they need to get. So
other centered.
other centered.
That.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I've been in it 22 years. And you know how it is, you stumble upon it, and then you get sucked in and you get sucked in and they just, that's it.
Yeah.
So I started in the title space in 2001. From title, you know, doing closings. Um, I've been an AE, an account executive. I've done HELOCs. I have, of course, recruiting. I mean, I've worked at a bank, like you name it. I have worked all different channels. And then finally last year, after my last corporate company let me go, I was like, you know what? This whole taco thing, I'm gonna see where the good Lord takes me with tacos.
Mhm.
And here I am about a year and a half later, and I'm still eating tacos for a living in the mortgage.
Of course. So that's the tacos, that's the hook, right?
Yeah.
And it's really about your platform is so cool, by the way, because you're able to talk about topics and highlight people, and
Yeah.
it impacts a lot of people.
Yeah.
So absent of that, people can get information, but you are a go-to source for information, which is super cool. So tell me a little bit more about the X's and O's of what your company does, because it's more than obviously the interview part, but you're
Yeah.
doing placements and everything else like that, right?
Yes, yes. So it all started 3 years ago, like right at the end of 2019. I just wanted to really set myself apart with a brand. And so I came up with this creative idea of Taco Tuesday. Every Tuesday, I'm going to go to a different taco spot and talk about mortgage and real estate and, home ownership and all that good stuff. Right. And I did. The following Tuesday, I started doing it. And to this day, by the grace of God, I've never missed a Tuesday for over 3 years. And because of that consistency, my supporters grew, the following grew, the whole platform grew, the brand, right? And then when they let me go, that brand and that consistency turned into a company.
Yeah.
And so because even before they let me go, people were already asking me, hey, can I come onto your video series? Can I come on Taco Tuesday to talk about my product, talk about my company? And were willing to compensate me. And so I decided to take it full-fledged, and now that's what I do. So Love and Tacos Media was formed. Love represents Christ, and tacos as well is, the best food group out there. And and so yeah, half of it is marketing, media, video content, all that good stuff that companies need to promote themselves, be present in the social media world, right? And then half of it is recruiting, and that part is really organic. It's just because of my vast network and the connections that I have. People come to me and say, hey, I'm looking at another company, or take a look at this offer. What are your thoughts? And I help them. And if I place them somewhere, great. I get compensated for that. But if they don't choose like one of my partners, then they just made a good connection, and no compensation, nothing whatsoever.
Of course. I love that, by the way. So that's what I mean by being other-centered. Your company is all about other people. It's not about you.
I love that. I'm over here taking notes myself.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're gonna put a bow on this. However,
Okay.
I want to ask you this question, because a lot of people are apprehensive about starting something or doing something on their own, and so there's a big shift mentally from going from a corporate environment where you're, for lack of a better term, a helper bee. That you have your part to make sure everybody else, and like the X's and O's.
Yeah.
But when you shift mindset to having your own company, what does that look like?
Oof. It is nonstop. When I tell you, like last night, I went to bed thinking about things I had to do in the morning.
Yeah.
It is, I get up, and from the moment I get up to the moment I go to bed, I'm working. So it doesn't ever stop. And it could be something, whether myself either promoting my company, promoting my brand, helping with, just other organizations. Yesterday I just took a call from someone who got laid off, and all they wanted was help to navigate LinkedIn, because that's my jam. Like LinkedIn is my main platform. And I did. I always make a point to carve out 20-30 minutes for someone who really needs like a LinkedIn 101, right? Or a refresher. And I love doing that, because people are now entering like the job space, the job hunting space, and it is completely different than what it was 5-10 years ago, and they don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
And some are really not open to embracing the change of social media and marketing, because it's changing just life, the day to day. But as a company, yes, like it is, you pour yourself, everything you have, every energy, and it's your baby, right? Like, but at the end of the day, I always, in my prayer time, that belongs to the Lord. Everything that I have belongs to the Lord. Apart from my heart, my multiple properties, my platform, my company, my children, everything belongs to him. So wherever he decides to take it, let his will be done, because I don't have any control. He does.
Yeah, 100%.
That's it.
By the way. I love that. I love that. All right, so Dalila, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate the work that you do, because to me, it takes a special person to continually have that energy, enthusiasm, the drive, and make other people feel good. And I know that you have bad days. I have bad
Oh
days.
yeah, for
And
sure.
if you're the one that's giving all the time, it's, first of all, it's super hard to receive. right? And it's also super hard to really just kind of let your guard down and just be vulnerable sometimes.
Yeah,
You do all
that one's
that.
hard.
Yeah.
That one's hard. And this is what I tell myself. I'm going to share with you what I tell myself when
Please.
there's a challenge or if I get scared,
Mhm.
especially because fear creeps in. I'm human, like, right?
Of course.
So I tell this one line to myself, and it always kind of like just it gets me through it, right? And it's like, girl, you've been on fire. You've literally been on fire and you have overcome that. And every time I tell myself that, like if I doubt myself or like the enemy tries to sneak in with fear and stuff, and I'm like, what? Girl, you've been on fire, literally. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, let's take a quick like selfie,
Okay.
right? In there.
All right. Go ahead.
Got it.
All right.
I'm going to post that. So
Sure.
I appreciate being on your platform, being on your show. And
Mhm.
thank you. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you want to learn more about myself and my company, you can go to, I'm on LinkedIn, Dalila Ramos, Dalila spelled Dalila. You can always go to my website, loveandtacosmedia.com. Tacos is plural. And I look forward to getting, to know you more, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.